Did you ever think about how crucial mindfulness is for professional and high caliber collegiate athletes? Or even weekend warriors? Hey, David Essel here. I want to talk about mindfulness in athletics, mindfulness in sports, mindfulness and performance, because this is where it all begins. It all begins in the brain. You know, we think of athletes as being these exceptional, gifted, genetically gifted individuals. They really are. But if they don't have the mental capabilities to keep it together, to understand how to handle stress, how to handle losses, how to handle defeats, how to handle trades, how to handle everything these guys go through, and women, separation from families, et cetera, we need to create a mindful approach to our professional or collegiate or even weekend warrior sports performance arena. And what does that look like? Well, let's talk about professional athletes. When we work with them, the very first thing we say is, well, let's get mindful about the season. The season's about to begin. What are the goals? What are the statistics? What are we going to do differently? Mindfulness means, what were my weaknesses last year in my professional performance, and how have I solved those weaknesses? If we haven't solved them yet, we got to go back to the table and figure that out, right? But see, this is all being in the moment, in the present, mindful about the goals set ahead. Now, once we get into the season and then we start becoming very mindful about what we're doing, what we're eating, what we're drinking, what we're watching, who we're hanging out with. You see, we start to get highly focused as the season approaches, whether we're going into a basketball season, baseball, football, all these athletes we work with on a regular basis. In our new book, we've got some great stories about athletes that had to become extremely mindful. What about Novak Djokovic? You want to talk about mindfulness? The guy started out hot in his career. He hit this major wall, and then he had to get incredibly mindful about everything he ate, everything he drank, every place he went, how he treated his wife, his children, what he did spiritually, how he got in touch with nature, what he started to do from a meditation point of view, and all of these other things. See, this is mindfulness. I mean, if you look at some of the top players in the league, when it comes down to 2 minutes left in the game and the game is tight, they are outrageously mindful. I think of Jimmy Butler last year. I mean, I just watched that dude all year round. And, you know, at the end, they were calling him Jimmy Buckets Butler because he would become so mindful. There's 3 minutes left. They're down by 10 points. This is what this team did all year round. And the guy became a junkyard dog. He became this incredibly focused. See, that's what mindfulness is. It's focus. But we're not just talking about mindfulness in the last 2 minutes of a game, the last quarter of a game. Of course, that's crucial. But how do you get yourself there? And that's where sports psychology coaches come into play. That's where we work with athletes and teach them how to be mindful, how to step back, how to look at the bigger picture, how to look at challenges during the season. And what we do with our athletes is we look at whatever challenges they're going through over a 7-day period of time. We want a solution the next time I talk to them, right? I do this with my general clients as well. So, and that's being mindful. So if you're writing, if you're an athlete and you're writing down in your journal, which we would highly recommend, and we actually give you a journal to work with, is that you would be writing down those days that you've had exceptional practices, exceptional games, and then you write down why. What made it different? What made it exceptional? What made it beautiful? What made it powerful? And then we look at those games. This is all mindfulness. And then we look at those games where we weren't on. And we try to figure out, what's the origin? Did I get enough sleep? Was I out late too much? Did I not eat the way I normally eat? Am I off of my schedule for some reason? Like, what is going on? Sometimes in mindfulness, what athletes find is there's certain players in the league that get into their heads. They know when they're going to play Team X that there's a player that's going to be talking trash, talking crap, talking shit throughout the whole game, and they have to be mindful. If it's thrown them off their game in the past, well, we have to come up with a solution. Then when player X tries to get into your head, we do A, B, C, D. See, that is mindfulness. We don't wait till the third quarter of a game or the second half of a game and then sit on the sideline with someone and say, oh, the guy's in your head, let's figure out something to do. No, that's not mindfulness. Mindfulness is coming into the season knowing that we had certain goals we wanted to achieve during the off-season training, and we better have done it, or we got to do it now, right? Mindfulness is looking at what the coaches are saying that may not feel good, may not feel comfortable to you, but we do it anyway. That's mindfulness. You know, in our book, we've got an incredible amount of stories, mental mastery and maximum performance for professional athletes. You can get the Audible for free at the website, talkdavid.com. You're going to read stories that'll blow your mind. They're so cool. How about Keith Mitchell, former NFL All-Pro? You want to talk about mindfulness? He was knocked out and paralyzed on the football field, told he would never walk again. Keith Mitchell went inside himself. He researched. He became so freaking mindful of how he could overcome his paralyzed state that he did. Now, some people say that's a miracle, and it might have been, but it's also Keith Mitchell's brain that the minute he found out that they were saying, you may never walk again, he went in the opposite direction. That's mindfulness. We can do that every day outside of professional athletes. Being mindful of what you're about to do this week. Are you prepared? Do you have a meeting? Are you prepared for the meeting? Do you have a day when 4 of your kids are all over town in different events and you've got to figure out how to schedule yourself? Let's do it now. See, this is being mindful. With athletes, we project out into the future mindfulness. And then with athletes, we also bring them back to this present day. With our athletes, we create a mindfulness routine, rituals that they do every day to keep them grounded and sacred, even if you want to use that word, because their career is sacred. We never know how long it's going to last. So let's be super mindful and make sure we're taking care of our mind, our body, our spirit, our relationships, our nutrition, our exercise, everything. This is mindfulness. And then the last part of mindfulness that I love to discuss is, where do you want to see your future self? Can we work on that future self, holding the NBA World Championship medal or the NFL Super Bowl or the Major League Baseball? Can we see ourselves? Can we see our future self through all of the mindfulness work, all the exercise, all the clean eating, all the things that we're doing to stay at the highest level of professional athletes now? Let's project ourselves and look at our future self. And we teach you how to do that in such a powerful way that the future self becomes the present self. And you can't separate the difference. And now you have mastered not only life, but yourself. The most important person in the world to master is you. Hey, if I can help you at all, go to the website. We've got 3 books for absolutely free, all on mental health and moving you forward in life. Of course, you can get the Audible for the book for free. And don't forget that we are in your corner. If you ever need help, reach out to me at talkdavid.com. You've been listening to the most positive podcast in the galaxy, David Essel Alive, helping Americans and the world to heal. Just go to buzzsprout.com, Google David Essel. You will find thousands of hours of interviews, many of them from my Sirius XM radio days. You'll notice all the celebrities there. And then you'll also hear me talking about these athletes, Moses Malone, Deontay Wilder, the boxer, Keith Mitchell, the football player. Oh my gosh, we've got people from every sport you can imagine. Greg Louganis and Kayla Harrison from the Olympics. There's so many cool stories in the book. You're going to love it. And they all have adopted a mindfulness routine for success in life. I'm David Essel, wishing you an incredible day.